Alive on the moon. Sorrow. It's on the pen alive. With your host David Knapp.
Thank you, Clap Track, and happy Thursday night. I'm your host, Dave Knapp, man on the Manjaro. That's why I'm here. You are on the pen. Wegovy, Sexenda, Victoza, Trulicity, Manjaro, Zepbound, Compound. That pen is what we talk about each and every week in what I would call the most accepting, warm, and welcoming community on the internet, the OTP community. Welcome. It's good to have you here. It's good to be here with you each and every week. I am so honored to have this platform called On the Pen to share with each and every one of you every week, to share in our journeys and to share just everything that we're learning, insights, tips, tricks, ups, downs, highs, lows, all of those things. I am so excited each and every week to sit down with all of you. Amazing things happen in the world of GLP-1 and amazing things happening in the world of OTP. And I can't wait to get to some of this stuff tonight with all of you. But I want to say a very warm welcome to some of you in the chat. Spoonie, Mrs. Bell, Carla, our friend Fit Flavor Fun, who we'll hear from in a little bit. Jennifer, J. Neb, Corey, who we'll hear from also in a little bit. Matt Grooney is in the house. Melissa, Sue the Dude. Welcome back, buddies. Good to see you. So many of you, Debbie, Tay, thank you for being here, Tay. We got so many familiar faces. Treva, good to see you. Sherry, man, everybody in the house. Lily, welcome. So we've got a great show for you tonight and some exciting things to share with you tonight. But before we do, would you hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button for notifications so that you know every time we go live here. It is so important because so much of what we share is news, breaking news in the world of GLP-1s. It's been a while since we have sort of been to our old format, but we're going to go back to it because you know that this show has a rhythm, a rhyme, a reason. We're going to start this week with a little bit of housekeeping. You want mint for pillow? What kind of hotel is this? I'll tell you what kind of hotel is this. This is Hotel OTP. And at OTP, we have friends. And we have been so thrilled to invite a couple of friends into the OTP family lately. Of course, our friend Allie from over at Fit Flavor Fun has been bringing us a weekly Reddit recap. And that has been super enlightening, super joyful, because we got to all know that there's really no more fun person to listen to than Fit Flavor Fun. So Allie's been joining us for quite a few weeks now. And of course, Corey, since back in the fall of 2024, has been sharing with us a maintenance minute because, you know, frankly, we've been doing this for 2 years and some of you folks are just so good at this that you're already in maintenance. And I wanted to be able to bring something to you from OTP in the way of maintenance. And so Corey's been doing that. So I am super excited because we are continuing to add into the fold just more members of the community who want to contribute to what we're doing here at On the Pen. And if I can track this down, I should have come correct tonight and prepared, but I had a graphic made up. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I think we kind of announced this last week. If you caught the show last week, we had a bunch of TikTok creators. We called them TikTok refugees, and we had them on the show to sort of share what they were starting to do over on YouTube here. I hope that you followed them. One of those was Sabrina Ramos, and Sabrina's been on the pen several times. But Sabrina is going to be bringing a live stream to us each and every week, or sorry, not each and every week. I think every other week. I'm not sure the frequency exactly, but she's going to be bringing a GLP-1 panel Friday nights. And I'm super excited for this because she's been doing this over on TikTok. We'll hopefully find a way to pipe it into TikTok as well. But Sabrina will be doing these on Friday nights, about every other Friday night, maybe not quite that frequently, depending on her schedule. But I think that's sort of what we're shooting for. She can validate that or not in the comments. But tomorrow will be the first one. So at 7 p.m. Central Time, that's 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific tomorrow. The first Friday night on the Pen style GLP-1 channel. This is Beyond the Scale with Sabrina. And I think she has 6 or so different creators lined up to come on and just share about their journey tomorrow. And so we're super excited. This is going to be a great community piece to add. So if you're looking for somewhere to hang out on Friday night and get some good community, this is going to be the place to hang out. It's so informative because we just, the main thing is you get my perspective here. When I make video, you get my perspective, and there's just so many other great perspectives. And we've tried really hard since we started on the Pen to highlight different creators on the Pen Live. So we've done a lot of introducing you to other creators here on YouTube, other creators on TikTok, but how do we get more of those voices, more diverse experiences other than Dave, who's kind of like a broken record, slow responder to GLPs. I'm super excited about this. You should be too. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So Beyond the Scale with Sabrina starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific. And we hope that we'll catch you here, right here on the Pen. It's a reason that you got to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for notification so that you get that bell. You go, oh yeah, they're doing that tonight. And that bell will send you a little ping to your phone so you can join us for that live stream. But that is the news tonight. I do also want to just say thank you because you all have been diligently picking up your copies of Decoding GLP-1. That is this book right here, Decoding GLP-1, a guide for friends and family of those on the Pen. This continues to perform really well in the top 10 of all diabetes books. I'm shocked. This well over a month after it launched. And so if you haven't gotten your copy, you can check out glpbook.com. glpbook.com will take you right to where you can get it on Amazon. Help keep the momentum going here. If you haven't picked up your copy, this is going to be a great copy book to hand off to people who just don't know about, the medication that you've used to get your body healthier, to live a better version of you. You just basically get those, oh, you're not on those shots, are you? We've got to combat bad information, and glpbook.com, Decoding GLP-1 is one way to do that. If the book has helped you, please tell your story in the comments and consider leaving a review over on Amazon and telling your story as well. I've heard such amazing stories. I think of our friend Mindy in the community who actually told her story about being on the GLP-1 to her family using Decoding GLP-1. And if that isn't just the epitome of the reason that I wrote this book, definitely is. So thank you for those who have picked it up. Drop a comment if you have read the book, if it's helped you. Really, really appreciate you. Go check out those reviews. The reviews are super heartwarming. Thank you for those who have left them. We're going to keep moving along tonight because we've got a lot to get to tonight, including our special guest tonight. We have an interview with Kelly Matthews. If you are on TikTok and you're on GLP TikTok, you have for sure been in a live with Kelly Matthews. This is her second time at On the Pen. We're both GLP-1 nerds. So one of my favorite people to just sit down and talk to because, we just have such shared interest in the GLP-1 world. So we'll get to that interview. Of course, we've got the other segments that we'll get to tonight, but we're going to keep this train rolling and get into some taking out the trash, shall we? Still the best graphics. Sue's Happy Fun Time Pharmacy. If anybody can remember the pharmacy reference, drop it in the comments. You have to be way OG to remember that because I barely remember it. But the fake news tonight, let's get into it. So I continue to just get leveled on the Meta platform with ads from telehealth companies. This one I saw this past week, and these just really have me scratch my head. Semaglutide and tirzepatide liquid drops just made your life easier. No needles, convenient, improved absorption, easy to use. How do they get away with comments like that? First of all, sublingual semaglutide, sublingual tirzepatide have never gone through a single clinical trial. So let's say it is better. Let's say it is better. There's no way to know that. And to make that claim is so audacious. Of course, when we get into the science behind this, Peptides are very easily destroyed by fluids in our body, our stomach acid. It's very, very interesting to think about how these sublingual things get through. But if you've tried the sublingual versions and you have an experience, I'm curious to hear it, because for my money, the claim that it's better absorption than that a sublingual is better absorption than a subcutaneous injection is wild. It's wild to me. Like we continue, in my opinion, to be in the wild, wild west when it comes to compounds. It's just wild out there. So that's an interesting one. Curious to hear what your thoughts are about that in the comments of this video. We're going to continue. Can anybody remember? Because again, it's been a while since we've been in the rhythm and the routine of the show, but can anybody remember what comes next? Well, I can. It's What's Fresh. Tonight's What's Fresh, a little bit more of a call to action. We've got a couple days to do this is all. And I really, really want you all to participate in this. If you go to onthepen.com and just, I believe it's right at the top of the homepage, and click on the article that says, if you care about GLP-1 accessibility, you need to act now. Here's why. All right. I want to get into what this is. So the future of obesity medication access is on the line right now, and we have to have your voice. So the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, called CMS, is now accepting public comments on whether to expand coverage for anti-obesity medications to Medicare. And this decision here could dramatically shape accessibility for years to come, because as Medicare goes, typically so goes private insurance. So this is an opportunity for Medicare to cover anti-obesity medicine. And the clock is ticking on this. There's only a couple days left to do this. I believe the 27th is the cutoff date. It's either the 27th or the 25th. Read this article. There is a link in the middle of the article to the Obesity Action Coalition's website. If you click on that website, it's actually going to bring you to a page where you can submit your public comment right there. And I really would strongly recommend that you do that. Within the article at onthepen.com, I actually give some ideas of things that you could put in your public comment that can be impactful. So make sure you read the article first, because it's designed to really help you give an impactful statement here. But you can see on their website, there's a place for you to leave your comment, and see right here. So it's the deadline for comments is January 27th at 5 p.m. So visit onthepen.com, click that middle article right at the top of the page about this, and then find your way to the Obesity Action Coalition and submit your comment. Let our voices be heard. This is a huge deal, and something that I hope that each and every person who is advocating for accessibility to GLP-1 medications would do it. If you do that, come back in the comments and put the little green check mark emoji and say completed, like S. Strahl did. So thank you for completing that Strahl, S. Strahl. Appreciate you. So Medicare coverage is huge. And of course, many states' Medicaid programs are tied to Medicare via federal agreements, right? And so this has trickle-down effects to Medicaid programs as well. This is a huge, huge deal. And that, my friends, is what is fresh this week. Thank you. I see all the completed. Y'all are already doing your homework. Hopefully you're signed up for email alerts at onthepen.com, because this has gone out via email at onthepen.com, so you wouldn't have missed this. But we try to hit it from all angles. So if you're over at onthepen.com to sign up for this, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page and sign up for email alerts while you're there. It'll be the best 30 seconds that you invest in 2025 so far. I promise you that. I can tell you. All right. So we're going to keep going here, because we've got a wonderful maintenance minute from our friend Corey this week, who's going to walk us through a very important topic this week. So ladies, perk your ears up. We need perky ears here. And men, perhaps men too. There'll be something to learn here as a maintenance minute with Corey.
Hi, I'm Corey. After losing weight on a GLP-1 medication and transitioning into maintenance, it's crucial to stay proactive about your breast health. Significant weight loss, even when well maintained, can alter the density and composition of your breast tissue, potentially impacting how your mammogram results appear. That's why it's essential to let your radiologist know about your weight loss and maintenance history to help them interpret any changes accurately. During maintenance, you may notice ongoing adjustments in breast shape or skin elasticity. These are normal, but can make self-exams feel different. This is why regular, monthly self-exams are key. Take time to understand what feels normal for you now and report any unusual changes like lumps, dimpling, or nipple discharge to your healthcare provider, even if your recent mammogram was clear. Staying consistent with your mammogram schedule is also a must. Weight loss and maintenance don't change how often you need screenings, but they do emphasize the need for communication with your doctor. If you've had rapid weight loss or hormonal changes due to GLP-1 therapy, discuss how this could influence your breast health or screening needs. It's also too important to note that breast health isn't just for women. Men, while at lower risk, can still develop breast cancer or experience changes in breast tissue, especially after significant weight loss or hormonal shifts. If you're a man, watch for any swelling, lumps, or tenderness in the chest area and report these to your doctor promptly. Beyond screenings, your maintenance lifestyle plays a critical role. Focus on nourishing your body with balanced eating, moderate exercise, and stress management. These habits not only support long-term weight stability, but also help reduce inflammation and promote overall hormonal health, which can positively impact breast tissue. Additionally, pay attention to skincare. Weight loss and maintenance may leave the breast area more prone to skin laxity or irritation, so keeping the skin hydrated and healthy is important. Finally, stay informed about your risk factors. If you have a family history of breast cancer or other genetic risks, share this with your doctor to explore whether advanced screening options like ultrasounds or MRIs are right for you. Maintaining weight after GLP-1 therapy is an achievement, but protecting your health doesn't stop there. Staying proactive with your breast health ensures you not only maintain your goals, but also safeguard your overall well-being for the long term. And that is your Maintenance Minute.
Another super stupendous Maintenance Minute from Corey. Just great information there. Of course, breast cancer has touched the lives of many, many women in this country, and even a good amount of women in this chat tonight. I think of Sabrina, who will be doing our Friday night. I don't want to steal her story from you. She shared it on her episode of On the Pen Live. But please, please, please heed those warnings and that advice to get those checkups, ladies. And men too, apparently. That was new information for me. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking into that. Thank you, Corey, for that awesome information. And we are going to keep this moving. Make sure you give her a follow too. By the way, I always forget. I get engrossed in watching the videos here, but I want to give a shout out to her TikTok. Since TikTok is a thing again, you can follow Corey over on TikTok if you are a TikTokian. If you're a TikTokian, drop it in the comments, but that's how you can follow Corey on TikTok. We're going to jump over to tonight's Reddit recap from our friend Fit Flavor Fun. Every single day, Allie puts videos out at Fit Flavor Fun, and every day they are so enjoyable. I have been doing a good job of keeping up with them this past week. Really good information. A little bit of venting the last couple of days too. It's got a little bit of everything, and she does it with such a unique flair. You'll have to check it out. But let's welcome our friend Allie from Fit Flavor Fun for this week's Reddit recap.
Hey everybody, it's Allie, and today I'm taking over. That's right, I'm taking over at On the Pen. And you're probably like, Allie, what are you talking about? And I'm sure Dave is sitting there going, Allie, what are you talking about? You see, Dave admitted in another video that he doesn't watch our video submissions that Corey and I send to him before he posts them. So I'm sure he's sitting there right now going, oh my gosh, what is she about to say? He has no clue. So today, instead of doing a Reddit recap, I'm doing a nutritional nugget because I'm taking over. Lately, I have really been focusing on making sure that I get more protein and more fiber in my diet. I'm currently in a stall and it's really just been challenging. So whenever this sort of thing happens, I turn to nutrition, and it's just a really great way to focus in on what you're doing. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to take my protein powder and add it to whatever it is that I'm going to be eating for my snack. So for example, this is a Greek yogurt. You can use one of those protein forward yogurts. You can use, a cream cheese mix, a sour cream mix. You can turn it into a dip. You can go savory. You can go sweet. You can even do unflavored. It doesn't have to be a flavored protein. And then you can dip your various fruits and vegetables into that protein forward dip. You can do the same thing with fiber. If you're taking a fiber supplement, you can mix it in with what you're eating. Just recently, I did a video talking about mixing in a protein powder with muffins. You can do it with brownies, pancakes, oatmeal. The options are endless. What I want to encourage you to do is think outside of your little nutritional box. So often we get into a routine and we start to do things that are comfortable. But when we're trying to meet goals, it can be challenging to take those things that we're comfortable with and then switch it up. And my dietitian was the one who recommended this to me. And I gotta tell you, I have been loving it. And meeting my protein goal, it's a breeze. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this nutritional nugget masquerading as a Reddit recap. This is Allie, signing off. Gotcha, Dave.
If that isn't just a wonderful flavor, I'm doing all the puns tonight. If that isn't just a wonderful flavor of the type of content that you get from our friend Allie over at Fit Flavor Fun, I don't know what is. Hijacking OTP tonight to bring us to pontificate on her beliefs about switching it up, keeping it, hitting those protein goals. I love it, Allie. I love it. I love you. I'm so glad that you are contributing over here. Corey and Allie are really bringing the heat lately at On the Pen. So thank you, ladies, for contributing. Thank you for that contribution. Hey, if you're enjoying the live stream tonight, hit that like button. And if you're enjoying it, hit that subscribe button. There's about 35% of you that watch these that aren't subscribed. Why not? You're enjoying the content. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. We'll get about 63 likes and I think a lot more than that watching. So if you're liking it, let us know. It helps the algorithm and helps other people to see this. I want to take just a moment to thank our partners at Row. We talk about this every week. They're the ones that bring this to you and make this all possible. You can check them out. row.co/OTP is the website where you can learn about the Row Body Program. The Row Body Program will allow you to get connected with a doctor who will determine whether these medications are right for you. And if prescribed, these medications for patients in the Row Body Program help them to lose 15 to 20% of their body weight in a year when coupled with lifestyle, exercise, modifications, all of those things, and the medication. So check out row.co/OTP. Of course, if you're going to start any new medication, be aware that there are potential risks with side effects with every medication. All of that is available at row.co/OTP. Within a couple clicks, you can find all the information that you need. Thank you to our partners at Row who make this thing possible each and every week. Just such a wonderful crew over there. It's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of the Row team for the last 6 months as a community advisor. I just so appreciate their heart for patients living with obesity and the work that they're doing over there at Row. But tonight, we have got a great interview with our friend Kelly Matthews from @GLP1 Real Talk. Kelly is blowing up over on TikTok, but also over on YouTube here now as well. So at GLP-1 Real Talk. She's one of my favorite people to just sit down and rap about all things GLP-1. I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the live stream. She's great. Give her a follow, do all the things, give her a warm welcome into the On the Pen live show tonight. Let's hear a little bit from our friend Kelly at GLP-1 Real Talk.
What's happening?
Welcome back. How are you?
It's been a while. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's crazy. Like, it always feels like so much life happens. Like, it feels like in one sense that you were just on the show, but then, I'll look back and it's probably been what, 4 months?
I think longer than that, maybe
6 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we just did it though in my
brain.
This
summer, maybe. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Time flies. And I can remember even back to when we first sort of started talking, like on the phone and over text and stuff. Like, I was driving around at the job that I had at the time, like X-ray equipment.
So you're not doing that anymore?
No.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's pretty much this full time. I have, so I do marketing. So
okay.
Build web, probably not a surprise to most people. But I build websites and help with branding and just marketing stuff.
Yeah, that was my career for a long time too. So
was it? I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and programming mostly, but I've done it all within that arena. So.
Do you have a day gig, or is this it?
Well, I own a business that does laser engraving, UV printing. It was huge for a couple years through COVID, just unbelievable. And then everyone got into the game, including China, and the products we were making, because it was a niche product line, everyone started making. So now it's, I take the business I can get, but it's not, I might work once a day where I used to work 7 days a week. So.
Wow. So when I just like telling you all the cheap stuff I got printed off of Temu, you're having a visceral reaction and curling your knuckles.
Not at all. Well, I mean, I know why they can do it that inexpensively. You can. I could easily.
Yeah, because they have 5-year-olds running the printing press.
Yeah. Well, that's true. And they're probably using cheaper printers, but they work, so it doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, I had never considered it for that type of stuff, and then they just did ad after ad after ad after ad.
That's great.
Like, oh, what is this? This is.
I might hop over there if it's that cheap. So.
Yeah, it is, and so we use it for some stuff here, but definitely I always like to back when I was doing marketing full time and doing stuff locally, I was always working with a local printer, but I suppose for the same reasons they've sort of gone away around here too.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. So what is new? I mean, you have really, since you were on last, like really kind of, I don't want to say come into your own as a creator. You've always been there, but like you've really expanded where your social media footprint. Tell me more about where people can find you these days and what you've been up to.
Well, thankfully they can still find me on TikTok. Oh gosh. I do have a YouTube channel, GLP-1 Real Talk. It's down there. Initially I was putting a little bit of content on. I did a couple interviews. I interviewed like Jackson and Beth and you. Lately I've got 4 interviews in the queue to post, and I've got 4 more coming up. So I'm trying to get a bunch done. So when I have my next knee replacement in 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I won't have to deal with that. But I don't want it to just be interviews, but I am doing interviews, and then I'm trying to get organized where I could actually start doing like some longer form content on there. I think I've told you before, I'm going back to school to become a nutritionist, to learn about certified personal training, so I can possibly start a business along those lines. But I want to have content that would kind of align with that. And I think YouTube's a great place, for that, because you can definitely expand, unlike TikTok. So.
Yeah, the thing that I always tell people about, and obviously we had a big episode last week on with all the GLP-1 creators that unfortunately we weren't able to make. But I was telling everybody, there's one of the things I love about YouTube is there's space for nuance here. There's space for discussion. On TikTok, whether people want to admit it or not, they watch content for a very short amount of time. So the content is sort of dictated by people's, ability to be brief
Yeah.
and get rid of the nuance and sort of suck people into the message. Here you can sit down and you can make a video about a topic that you could make a 30-second video on TikTok, but you can make it a 30-minute video here and
Mhm.
watch the whole thing and really engage. And that's what I've always loved about YouTube, both as a user of YouTube and now as a creator. I can just appreciate the audience on YouTube is just more maybe like me, where I would rather learn and deep dive and get to the bottom of things rather than just kind of get a talking scrolling through.
Yeah.
So very cool. Very cool to hear that you're going back to school and sort of like, sort of building off of what you've built. You and I were talking offline before we started. I mean, GLP-1 Real Talk, more specifically you, people always refer to Kelly, but really you have entered into the zeitgeist of the GLP-1 community in a really big way. I think a lot of that is due to the lives that you do.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about the lives that you've done on TikTok, and you've started to bring them a little bit over here to YouTube too.
Yeah, and I mean YouTube, obviously, and the difference in with TikTok is you reach new people easily. And I love that about TikTok. YouTube, it's harder during a live at least. Unless maybe you grow to a certain size. I don't know quite how YouTube pushes things out.
No, I would
But
agree. I would agree.
yeah. But I mean, I started the TikTok lives. The first I still remember the first one. I'm sitting on there like, this is awkward, and there's this dead space, but it picked up pretty quickly. And I don't have a lot of dead space, and I'm ADHD, and I didn't know this going in, but my brain thrives on doing this and this constant rapid fire questions, even though I'm repeating myself every day. I think that's one, we kind of have I say we, but I have some people that are there all the time that get a kick out of all of this. We get a lot of trolls, and I kind of troll the trolls, to a point. I'll cut it off when I need to, but it breaks up the monotony
Yeah.
of the constant, just answering the same questions, and it adds a little humor. And also at the same time, I use it as a way to, if someone's just back there lurking and a troll comes in and says you're taking the easy way out, now I can drop some education if someone else is listening, saying, well, no, I'm not, and here's why. So I think it's, that's so anyway, it's kind of turned into this where I'm considered this snarky, sarcastic, but it is kind of who I am at the same time. I'm very direct, and at times, though, obviously, I can my irritation can come through, and then I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean it that way. But I don't know. It's just I try to be authentic, and I am authentically myself, even when I may not be as prim and proper as some people. So, and I do curse a lot too. Yeah.
I love it. And the other thing that I love is the new glasses.
Thanks.
Like,
Yes,
I-
we have many
I-
colors too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I keep telling my wife, I'm like, I've got probably 6 or 7 pairs of glasses. I only break like 2 or 3 of them out for videos, but it's kind of a fun way to express yourself. And the first
and
time
look,
I saw
they
them,
have no lenses.
that's awesome. The first time I saw them, I thought they were a TikTok filter.
No, I know, because they look like a drawn on.
They look
cartoon.
cartoonish.
Yeah, I loved it. I saw someone on TikTok live had them on, and I'm like, and so I clicked. They were $4,
Nice.
and they came with these blue blocker lenses, which, because I'm a weirdo, we talked about it earlier, they make me nauseous. So I had to pop those out, and then I just wear them like this. So
Yeah, very cool.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of GLP-1, shall we? I mean, there's a ton to talk about. I don't know which direction we want to take this. I feel like the big thing that's going on right now is there's an administration change. I feel like that is a landmine field to walk through whenever I start talking about that. But obviously, the Trump administration's in. Everybody's eagerly awaiting to see whether RFK Jr. gets appointed to the Health and Human Services. You've had some interesting things happen over the last couple of days with, some reversal of some executive orders through executive order, which, by the way, not to get political, but like, it seems like that's the new era of presidential politics. It's like one president comes in, under the
Everything, yeah.
orders of the previous president, signs all their executive orders, and then basically Congress and the Senate are gridlocked for the entire 4 years. And the only thing that happens is because of executive orders, but they're just going to get undone in 4 or 8 years.
Yeah,
So it's
it's wild. Yeah, and a bunch of people get pardoned, and it's like the most happens in that one window of time, and then it's wild.
right. So we don't have to talk about this because I'm sure already people are having aneurysms in the chat. So I don't want to talk about that, but I am interested. We have seen some interesting things happen when we talk about the potential expanded accessibility of GLP-1s in 2025. I mean, the perspective of from the perspective of what the outgoing Biden administration did, changing the basically the guidance of Medicare so that Medicare could cover anti-obesity medications is huge. Right now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Kelly, but if you're not, you should definitely go over to my article at OTP and then copy the link that's embedded in that article. But Medicare through what's the date today? Through the 25th. So for the next 3 days, this is going to air tomorrow. So the next 2 days after this airs, Medicare, there's a governing body of Medicare. I can't remember what they're called, but they have an open comment period where people can go express their opinion about this specific issue of Medicare adding anti-obesity medication coverage. And so I linked that in the description of an article that I just did on the pen. Have you heard about that at all?
No. Well, no, I think I got an email from you, and I think it talked about it in that, but I didn't dig in.
Yeah.
So basically we all need to go fill that out.
Yeah. I would just highly recommend that people
I'll talk
do
about it tonight. Yeah.
Because I'm sure that you probably get into this too, is like if Medicare adopts something, typically there's
Everyone
a trickle
else,
down, right?
Yeah.
Where private insurance tends to be more open. Now, whether I always tell people it feels like with this specific topic, it seems like this will be the one-off where it doesn't trickle down. But I think, everybody is either on Medicare or going to be on Medicare someday, Lord willing. And so it's like, I think this is something that everybody should be advocating for. The Obesity Action Coalition has a very easy form on their website to fill out to add your public comment. And I'll link my article below because I kind of give some ideas about what you might say in your public comment that could be helpful. To kind of sway the powers that be. But I always feel like the Obesity Action Coalition, and whether it's the Obesity Society, Obesity Action Coalition, whoever, I feel like these organizations could be doing a much better job of reaching out to people like you and me who will happily advocate with them for this kind of stuff. But it's like I have to basically find out about this stuff because I get a message from somebody randomly on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, if I would have known about this, or they would have reached out to me, or I don't know, that gets
been talking. Right. No. Yeah, I agree.
Like people like you, people like me have advocated really hard for, especially the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act stuff. We could just partner with them in such a bigger way if they would just like pull us into the fold. How are you feeling generally about accessibility to GLP-1s in 2025 with what's going on with the OFA and the FDA? Like, how do you see this year shaking out? Like, what are some of the things that you see happening or not happening this year, or are you just disillusioned?
No, I mean, I'm not disillusioned. I mean, I think in terms of compound, obviously some places have plans. They're going to do what they can, but none of us really know how that's going to shake out, like in the long run. I'm hopeful. I hope people can continue to get their meds. Not everyone can afford brand name. I think, I'm pushing everyone to go get tested for sleep apnea. Why not? I got a test. I literally have it sitting right here. Can
I pause you on that one real quick? Because I think I may know the answer to this based upon a live I was listening to of yours the other day. Have you heard of anybody being able to get Zepbound through sleep apnea yet?
Medicare, yes.
Medicare, yes?
2 people, but they got Manjaro. It was weird.
Weird.
Yes. 2 people, but because of sleep apnea.
That's amazing. Through Medicare. So you heard it here first, folks. I mean, well, maybe you heard it on
2 people in my live within 2 days came in and said they got approved.
Did they give any insight into what that took other than the doctor basically
I think
advocating
it
on
was
their
pretty
end.
easy. Yeah. And then someone else I heard didn't. So it's like, well, why would that be? So but I ended up going to sleepapnea.org and
Okay.
I got my test. Now, will this hold up? Would you need to be retested if this came back because a doctor reviews it and diagnoses you? I don't know. But I'm going to, I know I had it at some point because I would wake up gasping for air. My mom said she'd hear me not breathing. Do I still have it? I don't know. But if I could get the diagnosis,
Yeah.
it's one more thing that could potentially get you covered, and I mean, I guess I'm hopeful that especially we don't have to go into it because neither of us have dug in deep enough, but that study that just came out with the 42 health conditions, if more and more of those things could eventually get indicated. But I know, what do you know about the process it takes, like for each and everything that's indicated? Is it like a 2 to 3 year study just for that thing?
Yeah, so to get an FDA indication, like a secondary FDA indication, there has to be a phase 3 clinical trial,
Okay.
is my understanding. I don't think they can go off like what Kelly's alluding to is a study that was published, a post-marketing study that basically looked at, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically looked at like 40 comorbidities that people living with obesity can have, and not even necessarily related to the obesity. There were some psychiatric things in there. There was some cardiovascular things in there, like mobility things. There's all sorts of things baked into this. And so basically what they can do is they take patient data after, like this is all kept in like Epic. Maybe you log into like Epic. That's what I use for my doctor's office. And it's your whole history. Well, these companies are using that to basically suck up all your data and basically do these sort of post-marketing studies to see this person's on tirzepatide. Oh, 6 months after they were on tirzepatide, they went off their blood pressure medicine. So they're able to like look at studies and do stuff that way. And it gives us good insight into like the real world, but it's not going to be tantamount to a phase 3 trial where they're actually seeking an indication from the FDA. So
Yeah.
For right now, I mean, obviously we've seen the cardiovascular stuff for both tirzepatide and semaglutide. So there will be indication for both of the, there already is for Wegovy. There will be one for tirzepatide. With tirzepatide, they went further. They got the sleep apnea indication. There's one coming for osteoarthritis. I believe there are studies being done for tirzepatide and semaglutide for MASH, which is formerly known as NASH, like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. There are studies being done for alcoholism and even studies being done just for addiction in general. I think some stuff being done for opioid addiction.
Yep.
So those are things that will ultimately likely see indications for, and something that you could get that backdoor indication through your insurance for. But as far as the big one, they have to be running specific studies, which I think most women that I hear is like, when are the PCOS trials coming? And so I don't know of any that are going on right now specifically for PCOS. Maybe you do. I've looked because so many people have asked. I just can't find it anywhere.
Well, that and like an overall, so we were chat GPTing this morning, and all these autoimmune conditions like lupus, Crohn's, IBS, RA, fibro, that mostly are affected, women are mostly affected by them. It was like 80% versus 20% men, that the inflammation causes them to be worse. Now, these meds aren't necessarily going to remove those conditions, but they improve them. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I talk to that are like, oh, I don't have lupus outbreaks anymore. My fibro is better. My rheumatoid arthritis is better. And it's all from, I don't know if they could do one on inflammation or how that would work, but I think that's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes down to, can they measure it? Is there like a good statistical measurement that can actually prove the efficacy? So when you talk about something like inflammation reduction, that's measured in a number of ways, and it's not like necessarily a condition,
Yeah, I know.
more than it is like a manifestation of something else that's going on in your body. But one of the things that's interesting to kind of consider is that a phase 3 clinical trial, which is what you would need to run to get, a secondary backdoor indication, is going to run for a small molecule drug like tirzepatide. It's going to run $20 to $100 million for the trial. For biologics, that goes up to like 300 or more million dollars. I know even for like the NASH studies, we're lucky that we're even getting those studies, because when you think about NASH, we talk about like how you measure the efficacy of a drug. Well, to measure NASH, you actually have to have a test, a biopsy done on your liver for the level of fibrosis that's going on, which is basically like the permanent damage. So if somebody's having to go in every 3 months, 6 months, I don't know how often they do it, but phase 3 is a big number of people. So you're talking about thousands of people in the phase 3 to prove its efficacy and safety. You're talking about thousands of people needing biopsies all the time. That's extremely expensive, probably getting closer to the billions of dollars. And so one of the things that Novo and companies like Lilly are working on with the FDA is like, how do we measure these things in a way that is like we can actually go through a clinical trial and get an indication for something without, having, like, what if they don't, what is the benefit of Lilly doing that if at the end of it doesn't prove efficacious enough, then you're down $1 billion, so just finding good units of measurement to determine how effective a drug is or not are big challenges and barriers to getting good phase 3 trials. But I'm bullish that, I think that sleep apnea one is huge, because I think most people living with obesity probably have some level of sleep apnea. Like, you're very smart to push people online, like, get that diagnosis, because if there is in 2025 this big sort of pushback against compounds, which we're kind of expecting, and fewer people than are expected end up offering custom formulations because of lawsuits, because that's the next thing, right? The next shoe to drop after the OFA trial is, how do telehealth companies respond in the face of potential lawsuits or actual lawsuits from Eli Lilly over the custom formulation sort of loop? I don't want to call it a loophole, but it kind of is going to be used that way. How does that affect things? And I think from Lilly's end, they believe that if they can get as much people off compound as they can, then they're going to have more people arguing with their employers to add obesity coverage. But I just don't. It's going to take more and more of these backdoor indications, I think, to get payers on board. And sleep apnea is huge. Why? Because it's the only drug. There's no other drug to treat sleep apnea. With cardiovascular disease, different story. With osteoarthritis, different story. But with sleep apnea, there is nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a hard one for insurance companies to say no to, I would think. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what else are you seeing for 2025? Are you seeing positive things in terms of, like, if compounds go away? Do you think that people will be able to maintain their access? You think Lilly will release higher dose vials?
I hope. I mean, that'd be amazing, and especially if they keep the price reasonable.
Did you see that article that came out last week?
Where the guy was implying they were going to do it.
Yeah. So it sounds like they're gonna, but the wording in it is kind of what catches you. And that's like, we'd like to see a lower barrier to starting the medication, so it's like, okay, so they're going to make 2.5 cheaper.
Yeah.
And then sort of like get you hooked. And then as you escalate, by the time you get to 15, it's $1,100 or,
but then I would just go with the shot, the pen, unless it's someone on Medicare or something, because then they don't. And I think that's, that people on Medicare, if they don't cover it, they need an option that is as cheap, at least, as what, $550, $650. The fact that they have to pay over $1,000 on limited income, does not make sense. Yeah.
Right. I would think that at a certain point, it just makes sense for Lilly to get everybody on the drug who can be on it. But when it comes to Medicare, the other piece of news that we've seen in the last couple of weeks is that Ozempic and Wegovy will be part of the negotiations for 2027. So Medicare will potentially be negotiating down the cost of Medicare or for Ozempic and Wegovy for Medicare. So then it's like, from Lily's perspective, if in 2027 people are going to get Ozempic and Wegovy on the cheap, and all these there's just so many factors, and then it's like, I don't envy these people's job, because it's like, how much politically is going to change between now and then, kind of to the point that we open the show with. Is like, everything is so unpredictable right now.
Yeah. Do you know what, with this new administration coming in, like what the views are or on PBMs and all of that?
Well, I mean, you did see Trump, like, in a very Trumpy way a few weeks ago. He's like, we're going to get rid of the middlemen. There's these little thing called the middlemen, and we're going to get rid of them. I mean, I hope that he's serious when he says that.
Yeah.
I think that there seems to be bipartisan support for reform in one way or the other. I'm hard pressed to like not be super cynical about it, because it's like United Health Group is one of the largest companies. And I mean, all these insurance companies that own these PBMs are some of the largest companies in the world. So it's like, great, we get PBM reform. Like, the Affordable Care Act was supposed to help with this stuff by capping how profitable an insurance company could be, right?
Yeah.
So then what the insurance companies do, they bought PBMs who weren't subject to that cap and made their money back that way. So when they do PBM reform, where else will they find to bilk people? Like, they'll find it. And if there's bipartisan support for it, then I go, well, then the insurance industry must already have that figured out on how they're just going to turn to the next thing and screw us some other way that takes us, it's been 16 years since the Affordable Care. Yeah, 16 years since the Affordable Care Act passed. I had to check myself, and I was like, how is that possible? But, it's taken us all this time to sort of, as citizens, like, unravel like exactly what is going on in this system. And it's like, just, I don't know about you, but just in the last year have I really started to understand how bad people are getting fleeced, and how corrupt the PBM system specifically is.
Yeah.
So like, they'll just do something else that'll take us 15 years to unravel. Then we'll get reform on that. And at the end of the day, it just, nothing gets better for people.
Right. Yeah.
That's like the cynical part of me, like, has a hard time believing anytime that everybody in Washington agrees on something, it's usually something that's bad for people.
Yeah.
Like banning TikTok. Like, all of a sudden there's all this bipartisan support. It's like, we need to ban TikTok because it's, affiliated with the Chinese government. Like, how many other apps are there?
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy it as the reason.
But they all come together and they go, yeah, we got to do something about this TikTok. And I'm like, if they're agreeing on this, it's probably because it's bad for us.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, really a really hopeful and optimistic tone we're setting to
I know. And now you know why, when anyone comes in my live, people love to say who I voted for based on my hair color. It's very strange. But, my response is always F the government. But that comes from a place of exactly that, because it's self-interest, and it's not about, they're supposed to be public servants, and it hasn't been that, in my opinion, for a long, long time. So
yeah, right. I don't know if my lifetime it's ever been that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, way back, way back.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, everybody, I hope that you're enjoying tonight's live. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, or frankly, if you haven't enjoyed it, hit the thumbs down button. I don't care. It's all interaction. So let's talk about that. Like, trolls. One of the things that I have like lately, people have been sending me stuff.
Whoops, is that okay?
People have been sending me stuff on Reddit, right? And so like, I read stuff on Reddit. One of my favorite comments that I read about myself there was that somebody said that I have the vibes of a youth minister that aged out.
Oh, wow.
I was like, man, that is cruel.
Yeah,
okay, I'll take it. So let's talk about trolls for a minute, because you kind of were talking about that in your that you deal with that in your lives. Like, you think we're making any progress in helping people to understand that GLP-1s are a treatment for a disease. Like in 2025, do you think we advance that narrative, or do you think we just take a giant step back because of, we've got like RFK Jr. running the health system who, says that whatever he says, we just need to
Yeah.
get red dye out of food and people won't be fat.
And he needs to be, I think he needs to be educated, and hopefully he will be, because, science. But, the one thing that at least made me encouraged was that he's pro-peptide. I'm like, well, these are peptides, but
Right.
we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But, with the trolls, like the young ones, they're coming in to just troll, and the constant like, oh, you're taking the easy way out, or you're cheating. And it's like, well, I'm cheating death. That's always, who am I cheating? Why do you,
Great line.
why do you care? It's that it's why does it trigger you? I try to always come at it from that perspective. But there, once in a while, I'll get someone that comes in and they ask a question that sounds trollish. And so I assume they're a troll and kind of go down that road. And then they're like, no, I really was curious. And then we'll start, I'm like, sorry. And then we'll start to talk about it. So I do think there are some people that want to learn, but then there's others that just, I think our society is so steeped in diet culture, and they have been for so long that, and not understanding biology, and not understanding how your body and my body can be different, and how I can diet and not lose weight because my metabolism is in the tank, or whatever it may be. They don't have that knowledge at all. And, it usually is pretty obvious that they're lacking knowledge. So,
yeah. One of the things that so we talk about metabolism, because I still deal with this, and I deal with this, like, we were having a conversation in the Discord last night, and somebody's like, a lot of this stuff goes back to the Facebook groups. Allie, who contributes over here at On the Pen, did a great video about this today, which would have been yesterday if you're watching the interview, about just like how silly people can be in these Facebook groups. And, like, the interesting thing that I have found is that sometimes people who are on these medications and succeed can be more harsh and critical than people who don't know anything about them. Like, I almost give a pass to people who don't understand that some people need the medicine to accomplish this because of things like broken metabolism. I would argue one of the things that I'm more interested in learning, because I feel like people are starting to understand that, is how gut health impacts all of the hormones that are responsible for telling us to not eat or to making us feel hungry or whatever.
It's huge.
But some of the people within this community can be just rotten. And it happens in my comments. Like I shared with you before we came on, like, I feel like for the last maybe 2 weeks, I have felt like I have no medicine in me. I have been just super hungry. I've gotten out of my rhythm of taking the can't wait. I don't know if that's a contributor. There could be any number of things, but just all of a sudden the last couple of weeks I've had like, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but when you do a good workout and you get done with that workout, especially if it's cardio, I just want to eat like a horse. I am so hungry after a workout. I feel like that constantly.
Oh, wow.
Which is super disappointing, but like super hard for some people in this community to fathom. They're like, well, I lost all my weight and I never went past 5 milligrams. It's like, good for you, Darlene. I do not have that experience, but it's like, people, I don't know if you've experienced that in any of your lives, but to me, it's like that gets way less of a pass than somebody who doesn't know about the science or hasn't used the medicine. People who have used it, who are shaming people who haven't had the same, that's shame on you. Like, that's crazy.
Well, I had, and there are people that I have a couple friends that lost over 100 pounds on the lowest dose. I'll use those examples to be like, if it's working, stay, stay if it's working, but if it's not, move up, obviously I'm not your doctor, but you get the point. I'm trying to encourage people to stay though. And someone posted in my Facebook group, so if y'all are watching, sorry, today or yesterday about, I've struggled my whole life. I can lose weight. I'll lose 30 pounds, but then I gain it back. I yo-yo diet. Typical. I could lose weight before these meds, but it was short-lived. I could stay in a deficit for 45 days at the most. And then that was it. And that came right back.
Mhm.
And so this lady commented and said, well, why do you even need these meds then? And I'm like, did you not read the whole post? You know, if you have a metabolic disorder, some people can still lose weight, but it's very hard. And then it comes back, you know, so it was one of those ignorant comments like, what, you know, I read her whole post. I knew what she was saying. And this lady was like, well, why are you even on the medication then? And it's like, she explained it right there in the post, you know? So
some people just have that mind that's wired for read the headlines, move on. No room for nuance or to try to understand somebody's point of view or be empathetic. Yeah. I'm hopeful, you know, like one of the big reasons that I wrote the book was like to give people that don't know about these medications like a really easy to digest, you know, guide to how obesity, like what people living with obesity experience and why these medications are so helpful. And yes, that book. And why, and you even got one of the fancy,
I got a collector's edition. Yeah.
For recent. This was the one I told you there's a lot of things that I did wrong in that book, or in the first run or whatever. So this is the one I've been making copies. So at some point I'll have to get you the fixed up version. But yeah, I mean, just like to help people understand what these medications are doing. And then for people who don't respond the same way, like we were talking, like, I don't know if it's because I'm diabetic, but I know there's some sort of biological reasoning for why I feel like I could take 100 milligrams of this stuff. And then maybe it would give me sort of some of the experiences that I've heard from other people that they get on 2.5, you know, or they're able to lose 100 pounds on 5 milligram. You know, like, but to give them hope about what some of the things are that are coming down the pike in the future. And so, yeah, I hope that that's helpful. I feel like we are making progress. I feel like the louder our voices get and the bigger our communities get, the harder it is to ignore the messages that we have. And of course, obesity as a disease, a biological disease, a metabolic illness, that can be treated. I think those are all things that will continue to be amplified, and I'm excited for that in 2025.
Absolutely.
I'm excited in 2025 or early 2026 for CagriSema, right? That's, to me, that's really exciting. Even all of the sort of negative reaction that Wall Street had to the clinical trial data that dropped.
Unreal.
I mean, it's crazy to me how bad the stock took a hit on that news.
I was like, all right, it's on sale. Let me go get more. I mean, it was, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah, it's crazy.
22% is like, to me, it's great, but they didn't hit the magic number that they mentioned, you know? So it's like,
yeah. And I don't like, I think this is just bad PR on the part of Novo Nordisk, because it's like, you know, if you look at those numbers, it still was like, I think that, I'm not even going to hazard a guess, but a good number of people hit over 25% weight loss in that trial. It's just that like a good number of the people in that trial didn't go to the top dose. They weren't forced dose escalated. So like people immediately compared it to Surmount, which is, you know, well, Surmount saw 22%. This saw just under 23%. So it's not better than tirzepatide. Well, actually, tirzepatide, you had to get to the 15 milligram dose. That 22.3% or whatever it was 15 milligram dose.
Yeah.
Many of these people on the CagriSema trial didn't get to the top dose. They just were allowed to stay with what was working. And so
smart.
I don't know if they were just reading into that as it was maybe not going to be such great news for side effects. Like if they weren't getting to the top dose, does that mean they weren't tolerating it? But I think that honestly, the trial design is a little bit more indicative of like how people should be approaching these in real life. To your point, it's like if 2.5 works for you and you're losing weight on month 2, 3, 4, why would you dose up? Why would you dose up? You're still seeing success. Like you still have rungs of the ladder to climb when it does plateau legitimately. And I think so Novo's designing these trials, I think, to reflect real life a little bit more, where your doctor just might not decide to move you up a dose this month. They might decide to keep you here until they know that it's not working and then move you up. That's real life. But
that's what's frustrating to me about the Lilly stuff, is because because they did it that way, insurance companies now force people up, and people are getting sick. I have a friend that, stopped brand name and went on compound so she could do a lower dose and kept getting her. And that's crazy. It's crazy.
That is crazy. Another thing that I'm excited for in 2025 is high dose semaglutide. We saw that.
I can't imagine doing that much. I'm sure it's only people that aren't responding, because oh my gosh. Can I imagine?
The responses that I've seen in some of the comments to the videos I've done on that are pretty funny, because they're like, I can't even look at a pen that says 0.5. Like, I get sick. So, you imagine like 15 times that medication if you're on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, people get, I get excited about it because I'm like,
no, absolutely.
Let me be the guinea pig. I think I saw at one point they were trying 15 milligrams of semaglutide. I don't think anything ever happened with it, but yeah, it's wild. One of the interesting things, this is breaking news. I haven't done a video on this, and I don't think I will between today and tomorrow. So I'll mention this. Is one of the things that I learned this week through a follower that I have on Twitter, is that high dose Rybelsus is available over in the EU already. The up to 50 milligrams.
50. Wow. Yeah, I did Rybelsus. That was my first experience with a GLP-1 a year before I started Zepbound, and I did the lowest dose for 4 days and I quit.
It wasn't good, huh?
It just, the fact that how you had to do it, you had to wake up, you couldn't eat. It made me feel icky. I didn't like it. I was like, nope. And it wasn't. Yeah. But then, Zepbound was great, so I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, to go from Rybelsus to Zepbound is like driving a Gremlin to driving a Bentley. I'm intrigued by the prospect of high dose Rybelsus. But I think like it's just indicative of like, will they bring it to the US? They could.
Yeah.
Is it too much API to serve the market here? I don't know.
Do they have the same? Because I know the tirzepatide trial for the pill is a unique delivery system. Is Rybelsus similar, or is it just getting broken down in your gut, and that's why they have to go so high? Or
so the clinical, there's what Kelly's referencing is a company that has a specific technology called, man, this always it's like it's in there somewhere. There's a company that has a specific technology. It's not Eli Lilly, but they possess a certain Dehydratech is the name.
Yes. Yeah, I remember months ago we were talking about it.
Yeah. And recently, they recently just announced some trial data on Mounjaro, oral Mounjaro for diabetics. So the information for weight loss is still to come, but yeah, basically they take. So the problem with oral peptides, long chain oral peptides, like that's not like, people are always like, well, how does can't wait work? This is the one that I'm always talking about. It's a short chain peptide, so it doesn't get destroyed by your stomach acid. But the longer chain peptides, like these ones that are GLP-1 analogs, they get destroyed immediately by your stomach acid. So they're not bioavailable. You're not seeing any of the benefit before your stomach acid destroys it. So that's why I get really skeptical about these compounded options of oral versions of these. It's because they haven't done anything, or at least they're not advertising what they've done to make sure that it's actually bioavailable and worth the hundreds of dollars a month that you're spending on it. This is different. Dehydratech is a molecule that they wrap the peptide in that allows it to survive your stomach acid and get broken down in your gut and absorbed appropriately. Rybelsus uses a technology called SNAC and SNAC, which is similar to, I mean, I don't know chemistry wise how similar it is to Dehydratech, but it's Novo's own flavor of it.
Okay.
And it allows Rybelsus to survive your stomach acid and get absorbed as well. At one point, one of my followers tried to explain it to me, and it was all in a comment. I think it was Cloakster. And he's like, yeah, the crazy thing about the SNAC technology is it just like basically like allows the pill to kind of like drill kind of a hole through the layer in your stomach acid and get absorbed that way. I don't know. I never looked
Weird.
into it, but that was wild. So, but anyways, it's all technology that's designed to help you absorb the peptide, which does not exist in compounded versions.
Mm-mm. And
Um,
then there's the sublingual. It's like anytime. So I'm like, you are burning. Just light your money on fire at this point because it's
right,
you know.
right. And that's where it's like unfortunate because you hate to see people who have like just been treated so poorly by the weight loss industry for so many years. Like, how many things did you spend money on over your lifetime? How many pyramid schemes? How many supplements? How many whatever? Like, I always say, like, I've been on Jenny Craig more times than Mr. Craig. Like, it's crazy how much money we spent on things that didn't work. And so to see like the GLP-1 stuff, and people taking advantage of that way is like it's totally infuriating. Like these pills that you can take that increase your natural
The
GLP-1.
supplements, Dave. Oh my God.
Like,
And every time I'm like, go on to Amazon and look at the one image that shows the ingredients. It's going to say like caffeine and berberine. That is not, it's
right.
literal herbal supplements or, oh God, that's so I saw you made a post. I think it was you about, needing some kind of regulation to not allow them to market it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like stuff that gets, labeled as low carb, and you look at it and it's like 32 net carbs in a serving. And then they've just added a bunch of soluble fiber to reduce the net carbs. But if you're diabetic and you take that, it's still going to spike your blood sugar.
Yeah.
And so like, it just, there probably needs to be more regulation with that.
All the new high protein foods that are coming out too that are, full of crap, but
yeah, I mean, it's never ending. It's never ending. So hopefully we can continue to combat bad information here and on the pen, and you at GLP-1 Real Talk, which again, like I know TikTok's back. Are you still going to make more YouTube content?
Yeah. I mean, I like, I think it's smart to have more, and you're reaching a different audience, especially with content. Lives, it's difficult. Like if TikTok really went away, I would not go live as much as I do on YouTube because it's just, I would still because, people like it, but it would be more, scheduled and all of that. So,
yeah. I know that you have reached a lot of people with your live streams. I hope that TikTok for you and your community's sake continues to live on, obviously for mine and my own community's sake. We'll have to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of months how this, I mean, you watch Lee's videos and he's like, so they're just breaking the law now. Like, there's really nothing baked in here that allows them to do this. It's just that the Trump administration has said they're not going to enforce anything. So it's kind of crazy territory. So we'll have to see, but you can catch Kelly at GLP-1 Real Talk over here on YouTube. Kelly, what is the name of your Facebook group? Is it a long, cumbersome name?
It is, but it's if you search GLP-1 support ampersand success, so GLP-1 support and success, but use an ampersand, it'll come up. We're almost at 14,000 people, and it has a picture of apples.
Okay, so search GLP-1 support ampersand success.
Yes.
And you'll find it.
I had to take Zepbound out because I didn't want to get flagged or in trouble. So I used to want that in there.
Smart. Yeah. Well, I hope you'll give Kelly a follow at all the places. Her content is some of the content that I enjoy the most when I'm popping on TikTok. So check it out. Thank you for joining me today for this conversation, Kelly. We'll do it again sometime soon. I always appreciate the ability to chat with you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
All right.
Kelly, GLP-1 Real Talk. A wonderful conversation with Kelly. Always enjoy it. I mean, there's just very few people who get into this stuff the way that I do, and Kelly's one of them. So it's always a great conversation. Kelly, thank you for joining tonight at On the Pen. How did y'all enjoy that conversation? I hope you enjoyed it a ton. We went through so much stuff. Couple things I wanted to mention because some people were asking about the can't wait in the comments, saying they were going to pull the trigger. So I got out of the routine of taking this for the last 2 weeks. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I got out of the routine. I just did. So I don't know if the increase in hunger was related to that, but I did get back on it. So I just want to warn everybody, and you get back on this, it takes some time for it to work. So for me, the first time around, it took at least a week to 10 days, maybe almost 2 weeks before I started noticing the suppression. Same thing here. I just started taking it again a couple days ago. I haven't really noticed much, but I did notice this, and I wanted to remind you of this. When I first start taking it, I get the first couple days, the GI side effects are not super pleasant. It is yeast based, and it is a pill. So your tummy might have a little hard time adjusting the first couple days. Just a warning. If you want to try Can't Wait, the link is in the bio here on YouTube. You can use the code OTP10 and save 10%. Always integrated peptides. They're great. They make all sorts of stuff. They've got BPC 157, and it's a great at reducing inflammation, all sorts of stuff there. So check them out. The link is in my bio. I just wanted to mention that because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. The first couple days are a little rough, so to speak. So have some of that extra soft TP on hand is the best recommendation that I can give you. Hope you enjoyed the amazing conversation with Kelly tonight. I hope that you enjoyed Fit Flavor Fun and Allie's addition to the remix on the Reddit recap. I hope you enjoyed Corey's Maintenance Minute. And I hope that you're looking forward to tomorrow's live. Tomorrow with Sabrina, who's going to do the first inaugural On the Pen GLP-1 panel. I hope that you all will join us. That's 7 Central, 9 Eastern, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Wait. I'm saying this wrong. 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Pacific. I don't know. I'm not into this Pacific time. So my Pacific people can give me the Pacific time. I think it's an hour. It might be 2 hours earlier, though. It might be 5 o'clock. I don't know. I said that all earlier, and I was like, I think I said that wrong. But it's for sure it's 7 Central. That's all those of us in the Midwest care about. 5 Pacific time. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. So yeah, hope you'll check out tomorrow's inaugural On the Pen GLP-1 panel hosted by our friend Sabrina. It's going to be great. I want to take just a couple of minutes because it's been a while since we've jumped on here live, and we got a good crowd in here. If anybody has any questions, drop them in the comments. Would love to take a few questions before we jump off live. Now is a great time to remind you also that after we go live here every Thursday night, we have a Discord. And you can get there by going to onthepen.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you can see that there. But we have a Discord where we kind of keep the conversation going for a little bit. I jump in there for a little bit as I can at the end of the night. But the Discord is a great place to have a conversation, ask questions, do all of those things. So join the Discord. As Spoonie says, be there or be square. Yeah, tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central Time. But yeah, drop any questions you may have in the comments real quick. I'm happy to take a couple if you have any. By this time, I think everybody's just ready for bed. We start this so late. Hopefully we'll be able to maybe start doing this a little bit early sometime soon. Maybe even a different night. We've kicked that around too. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being the best part of what we do at On the Pen. This is just so fun to do with you each and every week. I look forward to it every week. And I know that you all do too. And so I thank you for showing up and showing out. Thank you to our guests. Thank you for the contributors. And with no questions, a puppy update. We do need a puppy update. Let me see. I'm happy to pull up a picture because she was looking so cute. I think it was last night. And I was like, oh, I got to take a picture. So let me see if I can. It's not like the clearest picture. Let me see if I can pull this up. We'll do a puppy picture. I wonder how she's doing. Usually it's like past her bedtime right now. And so she's usually barking by now. Like, hey, what's going on? Where's daddy? I know he's in the basement. Let's see here. Where are you at, girl? Oh, it's a HEIC file, and this never likes that. Why does it do that? And anybody tell me, some of you tech nerds out there, why the iPhone chooses to save photographs in this format called HEIC, HEIC. I don't know why it does that, but it's not compatible with like anything. And so it's not helpful. So it's highly irritating, but I just do a screenshot and that usually helps. 3, 2, 1. There she is. She's looking huge. I think she's all of probably like 35 pounds now. And thanks to our resident canine nutritionist, because that is what Allie does in her real life. And so yeah, that's Ella. She's getting absolutely huge. I can remember just like a few weeks ago, she was literally crawling on the desk here. I can't even imagine that now. She's so big. It's crazy how big they get. She gets so big so fast. Yeah, she is leggy. But yeah, the Medicare letter, go to onthepen.com. Go to onthepen.com. If you're on your mobile device when you go there, I'm going to just do it right now. If you go to onthepen.com and you just scroll down a little bit to where it has the article. So you'll see as seen in, then you'll see the On the Pen lives, and then you get to the articles, and it's the second one down. It says, if you care about GLP-1 accessibility, you need to act now. Here's why. That's what it looks like. Click on that. Oops, Ella's still on the screen. Let's get rid of the little sweetheart. That's what it looks like. Okay. So that's the article that you need to click on. You know, you're just going to scroll down a little bit. And there it is. That's the article. Click on that. The link is embedded to the Obesity Action Coalition where you can go there and actually fill that out. Hopefully that's helpful for y'all. And with that said, we're going to end it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the best part of what we do at On the Pen. And we will catch you on the next one. Thank y'all. May the Lord bless you, keep you, make his face shine upon you, and be gracious to you this week. We'll see you later.